Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our newest edition of the Sci-Fi Dating Show. I'll be your host, Andrew Hoyne. Today we have an interesting show for you. Peter Hobson, a nationally recognized scientist, is experimenting in a new field. He is our bachelor. This lucky man will be able to choose between 3 lucky girls by asking them a variety of questions. However, this show is going to be unique to anything we have done before. We will be focusing on the philosophical side of the candidates rather than routine questions. The questions will be of the soul, afterlife, and even the effects of life-changing discoveries. Peter Hobson will make his decision and choose the candidate that best suits his perspective. Now let's meet the man himself. Please welcome Dr. Peter Hobson.
Hello, Andy.
How you doing?
Thank you for having me on the show.
Alright, please tell us about yourself, Peter.
Well, I'm a biomedical scientist, and alongside my friend Sakar Muhammad, we have created an artificial intelligence, mental copies of myself, and verified the soul wave. The mental copies of myself are referred to as simulacrums. I created 3 versions: Control, Ambrotos, and Spirit. These would give us a look inside what it would be like to be immortal, or be the soul without the body, or life after death.
Wow, these accomplishments must have led to some controversy and issues.
I suppose you could say that.
So, looking into your research, I noticed your talk about the ball of light. What exactly do you mean by this?
Well, in simple terms, it is also known as a soul wave, which I would define as a coherent electric ball that starts in the inner brain and moves out of the body. This was first found in a patient of mine named Peggy. She allowed me to hook up my super EEG and find the final neuron connection before death. This is where I accidentally stumbled upon the soul wave leaving the body.
Very interesting. Now, what made you decide to come on this show?
Well, Andy, unfortunately, my wife Kathy cheated on me with a co-worker. This led me to the idea to weigh my options and maybe find a new soulmate.
Oh, I see. Well, I wish the best of luck.
Thank you.
Okay, well, let's get started. Bring out contestant number 1.
Hello. It's a pleasure being here. I'm really nervous, anxious, but I'm really ready to get started.
All right, we have some deep questions that we will be discussing. I hope you're ready. Good luck, Jessica.
Thank you.
All right, now it's time to bring out contestant number 2. Please welcome Carly. Welcome to the show, Carly.
Thank you, Andy.
All right, do you think you have what it takes to win?
I hope so. I believe my philosophical views are great, but you never are too sure.
All right, this is very true. Good luck, Carly. And our final contestant is Erica. Welcome to the show, Erica. Please have a seat.
Pleasure to meet you.
All right, we have a great show in store. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling confident and I'm ready to get to that bachelor.
Aren't we all? Now that we have met all the contestants and our bachelor, Dr. Peter Hobson, it is time to begin our philosophical questionnaire. We will now ask our first question. Contestant number 1, do you believe in the existence of the soul?
I do believe in the existence of the soul. I think the soul is the core of who we are as humans, and the body is just your physical appearance. The soul represents the true person. It contains all elements of a person, such as feelings and personality, and I think it's the most important part to get to know.
That's very fascinating. I agree with you, Jessica. I believe that the soul also does indeed exist. I also think that our soul helps guide us on our journey through life, and the soul is a very important part of the person you will become and lead you on the different paths you will take on your journey. Now for our next contestant, Carly, how do you feel about the existence of the soul?
I definitely believe in the existence of the soul. Our soul is the very essence of who we are. It's the spiritual embodiment that I believe is present in all humans as well as animals. Not only do I believe in the soul, but I also believe in soulmates. I believe that 2 people who are destined to be together will recognize each other as their soulmate at first sight and be drawn together from a soul level. If we didn't have a soul, how would we ever find our soulmate?
Those are some great points, Carly. And finally, how do you feel, Erica?
Yes, I do believe in the existence of the soul when there is any form of life. The soul is the part of the living being which is the essence of who you are. Not one person has the same soul as another person.
Very interesting. Now that we have all of our contestants' views, it is now time to see what best matches the man himself. Please enlighten us, Dr. Hobson.
Thank you, Andy. I would first like to say that I am pleased with everyone's views and responses to this question. I am positive that the soul does exist and enters the fetus at a specific point in the pregnancy and exits the body at absolute death. I have done research on pregnant mothers and dying patients, and the evidence is overwhelming. I am certain that there is a soul in the human body, and it was found through the soul wave. The implications of my research, however, are uncertain, and I am afraid that there will be many consequences to the situation. It is hard to give an exact answer to the definition of the soul, but I believe the contestants did a fascinating job describing it.
Well, that is good news for our contestants. The next question deals with a similar aspect, and that is the afterlife. We will start with Erica. How do you feel about the possibility of the afterlife?
Well, there is an afterlife. I believe that after one dies, that their body may stay on earth, but their soul does go up to heaven. The soul has in it the characteristics and personality of the person. When someone passes on to the afterlife, then their soul will look down on us into the material world.
That is a genuine possibility for sure. Personally, I believe that there is an afterlife, and this afterlife is in the form of a heaven. Although it is hard to give an exact description of a heaven, I imagine that heaven will be full of the loved ones that have went before yourself, that have done just things during their lifetimes, and that the opposite will go to hell, a place that will punish people who have done great atrocities during their days on earth. Now for contestant number 2. Let's hear Carly's view on the topic.
I believe that there is life after death. Since I believe in the soul, I also believe that has to go somewhere when we die. I think that when we die, our soul leaves by exiting the body and going on to some sort of afterlife. I'm not really sure what happens to our soul when we die, or where it goes, but I believe in God and heaven and hell.
That is very thought-provoking. Our final contestant is Jessica. Please tell us how you feel.
Yes, I believe that there is an afterlife. I think the afterlife is where your soul departs to after death. The body is left on earth and the soul passes on to another life. If you've had good intentions and a good will, then you will pass on to a heaven. To me, heaven is a place of bliss and happiness and a place to reflect on the good you have done in life. To get to heaven, you must have a good will, which means you must recognize through reason what your duty is and do whatever it may be simply because it is your duty. But if you did bad things and go completely against reason and goodwill, then you will go to a hell. This is a place where you will be punished for your bad intentions and actions in life.
Wow, all these perspectives are very interesting. And now it's time to hear from Peter. Take it away.
The idea of an afterlife has always fascinated me. The verification cannot be guaranteed, however I do believe in an afterlife, the extent of which I am not sure. Throughout my research, I've experienced a patient who believed she was near that stage, and this gave me a new and clearer perspective on the existence of an afterlife.
Wow, your research has had a major impact on your philosophical views, Peter.
Yes, absolutely.
Then let's get on with it. Let's go to our final questions. Our first response will come from Erica. How would you describe a discovery like Dr. Hobson's, and what are some possible consequences?
I think that Peter Hobson's discoveries are very impressive, but I think that it goes against what the soul is. The fact that he found a way to see the soul leave the mind, it doesn't make sense to me. I don't think that it was the soul, rather something else, seeing as the soul can't be seen.
Those are some good points. What do you think, Jessica?
I think Peter's discovery of the soul is a positive thing. It could be possibly life-changing for some people, and their views of the world may change. I think it will get those who do not believe in faith believing in something. It gets people interested in thinking about what really does happen when you die. Also, Peter's discovery justifies that there really is a soul. It makes those who believe in faith more confident about their beliefs.
I see where you're coming from, Jessica. I think a discovery like Peter Hobson's will change how we see the world in a positive way. It will help to start to answer questions that past scientists and philosophers have asked. It could answer ethical and right versus wrong questions that would greatly affect our society as a whole. And now for our final contestant's thoughts. Go ahead, Carly.
I think that his work is controversial but interesting. I understand how some people could take this discovery negatively, but I see it in a more positive way. I see it as a blending of religion and science. His scientific discovery of the soul only strengthens my beliefs and allows me to express them with more certainty. I can still say that my belief of the soul stems from my faith, but I can now support my belief with facts and evidence.
Nice points, Carly. Now for the scientist himself. You're on, Peter.
I think that the implications of any major discovery are nearly impossible to judge. I know from experience, from my findings of the soul wave, that people will be for and against you no matter what the circumstance. Describing a discovery of this magnitude can be said as mind-blowing and life-altering. People tend to shield away from major change, and this can cause issues as well. These tend to be religious and legal perspectives that differ from the results of the research. My findings have produced anti-abortion petitions, changes in the medical field in regards to dying patients, among many others.
I see what you mean, Peter. It is now time to put all our results together and find out our winner. Dr. Peter Hobson, tell us who it's going to be.
For long consideration, I have decided that the contestant I choose is Jessica.